Good evening and welcome to Poland Daily. I'm Nicholas Richardson and this is the news. Sweden and Finland will sign the NATO accession protocol on Tuesday to formally join the alliance, and this is not the only result of the historic NATO summit in Madrid in Spain. United States President Joe Biden stated that his country is changing the posture of its forces in Europe based on threats coming from Russia after its invasion of Ukraine and from other directions. Biden confirmed that the United States will raise a number of destroyers in Spain from 4 to 6 and said Washington will send 2 additional squadrons of F-35 fighters to the United Kingdom and establish the United States Army's 5th Corps headquarters in Poland. The 3-day summit adapted a new strategic concept for the alliance, which recognised Russia as the main enemy. In addition, a strengthening of the alliance's eastern flank was announced. A permanent United States Army 5th Corps headquarters is to be established in Poland. A very important decision communicated by President Joe Biden to locate the 5th Corps Command in Poland. This is the first such decision since the countries of the Central and Eastern Europe were admitted to NATO. So it is very important for us and strengthens our security. President Biden said Russia's invasion of Ukraine has led to a stronger and more united alliance.
Before the war started, I told Putin that if he invaded Ukraine, NATO would not only get stronger, but would get more united. And he would see democracies in the world stand up and oppose his aggression and defend the rules-based order. And that's exactly what we're seeing today. This summit was about strengthening our alliance, meeting the challenges of our world as it is today, and the threats we're going to face in the future. At this summit, we rallied our alliances to meet both the direct threats of Russia poses to Europe and the systemic challenges that China poses to a rules-based world order. And we've invited 2 new members to join NATO. It was a historic act, Finland and Sweden, 2 countries with a long tradition of neutrality and choosing to join NATO. We've reaffirmed that our Article 5 commitment is sacred, and an attack on one is an attack on all, and we will defend every inch of NATO territory. Every inch of NATO territory. The United States is doing exactly what I said we would do if Putin invaded. Enhance our force posture in Europe. We'll station more ships here in Spain. We're stationing more air defense in Italy and Germany, more F-35s in the United Kingdom, and to strengthen our eastern flank, new permanent headquarters for the Army 5th Corps in Poland. In addition, an additional brigade combat team positioned in Romania, and additional rotational deployments in the Baltic countries. Things are changing to adapt to the world as we have it today. And all this is against the backdrop of our response to Russia's aggression and to help Ukraine defend itself. The United States is rallying the world to stand with Ukraine. Allies and partners around the globe are making significant contributions.
The fence on Poland's border with Belarus is complete. Construction took just over 5 months. The 187-kilometre wall is designed to stem illegal migration from Belarus and Russia. Speaking in the border town of Kuźnica, Prime Minister Mateusz Morawiecki said that the construction was necessary to safely protect the Polish border and focus on the stretches where the fight for the future of Europe and Poland is taking place. Last year, the Belarusian regime attempted to destabilize Europe by bringing in thousands of migrants from the Middle East and Africa and encouraging them to cross into Poland and Lithuania, a move that was made in retaliation for sanctions the EU had imposed on Minsk for its brutal crackdown on democratic opposition. Internal and external security is our top priority. It's our reason of state, and if anyone wants to deny this reason of state, we will fight for it, despite everything and everyone. The wall that you see behind me reflects our effectiveness, is proof of our responsibility, precaution and predictability. Apart from this border wall, we are now also setting up the electronic wall, motion detectors, daylight and thermal imaging cameras. The border will be fully secured. You can see roads built along the border so that the patrols of border guards can immediately intervene. There is a bloody war happening beyond our eastern border, the bloodiest war since World War II. And today we clearly see that this war had its first chord, And the first chord of this war was with Lukashenko's attack on the Polish border, the border with Belarus.
Atak Łukaszenki na polską granicę. Dziś widzimy wyraźnie, że gdybyśmy wtedy...
Today we see clearly that if we hadn't called a halt to what Lukashenko was planning for Poland and for Europe back then, today our officers, policemen and maybe even the rest of our uniformed services would have had to focus on providing the internal security and the security of this border. Meanwhile, thanks to precautionary politics, thanks to predictions of what might have happened, we can focus today on what's ours and Europe's highest priority: helping fight Ukraine in keeping its sovereignty and providing resistance to Russian aggression against Ukraine.
Naszym i europejskim najwyższym priorytetem.
Barrier will soon be equipped with motion detectors and daylight and thermal imaging cameras to help detect attempts of illegal crossing. Residents of Ukrainian capital Kiev welcomed the news of Russian forces abandoning the strategic Black Sea outpost of Snake Island on Thursday, a major victory for Ukraine that could loosen the grip of Russia's blockade on Ukrainian ports. Russia's defense ministry said it had decided to withdraw from the outcrop as a gesture of goodwill to show Moscow was not obstructing United Nations efforts to open a humanitarian corridor allowing grain to be shipped from Ukraine. Ukraine said it had driven the Russian forces out after a massive artillery assault overnight. Whatever Russians say is a lie. I believe that what they say should be perceived completely the other way round. The Russian forces on Snake Island were pushed away by our boys with their artillery, and they achieved their goal. It would be great if the next Russian goodwill gesture would be Putin shooting himself in his bunker. Snake Island has held the world's attention since Russia seized it on the war's first day, when a Ukrainian guard, ordered by Russia's flagship cruiser Moskva to surrender, radioed back, "Russian warship, go yourself." It was important for the Russians to make sure the skies are closed to protect their ships. They failed because we have our armed forces of Ukraine that do their job well. I think they ran out of manpower, and Russia did not reinforce their troops there because the situation there was very intense. Ukraine's postal service in April issued 1 million stamps brandishing a defiant insult to Russia, and the image of Ukrainian featured t-shirts, calendars and French banknotes sold as souvenirs across Ukraine.
Like, we will never give up, you know, like never ever, like, you know, like the people from like Snake Island, they knew this is like a fight they cannot win, right? But they were still like, F you.
That's the news. Thank you for watching. Stay with us for the weather, Poland Daily Business and more programs. But from me, it's have a good night and a better tomorrow.